so let's just join these together on the table.
Obviously, this like the disposition of things. But if we have time, if we then manage to also start maybe drawing the physical space, the shapes, the
physically in the space.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing on the list, isn't it? The build side of things is the other thing that's going to take significant time. How this is translating to the physical themes of each area, and then also any AV requirements that we're going to need, so we can pin down exactly how many films we're going to need to have made, how many this, how many that. The dressing table element, which is really effective for kind of getting ready in the bedroom side of things. The influences, film and the makeup process, as we've talked about a lot, this kind of physical process, which is something that's really effective, but also an opportunity we've mentioned having. Ensuring we're asking the right questions to get that information out of them, and then it was kind of moving into the dressing, the body preparation side of things, which again is also an opportunity for a video process there, kind of a breakdown of the process, but also whether we use physically using the space or the backdrop. So I really like the idea of the kind of textures, like on the wall, the textures of the padding, that material underneath. And then we were thinking about obviously wigs, hair.
I think there's a parallel way in which we can use the videos to be both the showing of the skills, but also the talking of the experiences.
What if there was a temporary wall here that had the entrance sign on it, so that you see it coming all the way down that corridor? So if you've got the neon, I can see it all the way down the corridor here, and it's drawing me in. This is that almost a moment of pause where maybe you've got the neon and you've got that sound of the applause, or you've got the sound of something. And then, do you want me to go in a particular direction? Do you want me to go that way? Do you want me to go that way? Or do you think there's going to be a choice of either way?
I always thought it would be this way, just because of the nature of what we're, I suppose, what we're trying to create feeling-wise.
So we could either angle the wall like that, so it feels like it's opening out, or you can put a return on. I don't know what your fire rates are here in terms of something like that.
We'd probably need it to be open, because that's the nearest fire exit, is that way out. And the idea of it being like so for example, the dressing up table, if we were doing a tour or in conversation or something with a performer, they could sit up here and interact in that way.
I think if everything huddles around the walls, you're actually going to end up with more dead space than you think. I would really start bringing things into the space a little bit.
If we utilize this space here, and if there's a plinth here, couldn't they sort of extend down to here, and then you create also a little bit of a path here that it's less circular. It's like it's a bit of a walk.
I think this is where, because I've just drawn that out, and now I'm looking at the space thinking the proportions aren't right at all. And I think you can sketch roughly to get an idea of narrative and sections, but it's almost we're at a point where we're talking about specifics of sizes where you kind of have to work to scale. Where's my tape measure? How many people do you think are going to need to be on the stage at the same time?
Really depends. 2 to 3, maybe? 2?
Whereas if there's other stuff away from walls, this is less of the single focus.
Yeah. I think as long as we're not closing the space just because we've spent a lot of time extending the space.
So it's literally just something that's this wide, that maybe has a dressing table on one side and has something flat on the other.
Yeah.
So let's write out number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. And there doesn't need to be one version, we can do a million versions, but if we're saying it's linear, we have to actually get that out.
And starting from the overarching thing, which is influences, experiences, skills.
Right, just write out a version. So we're not thinking about literally physically where they're going. We're just deciding what's the order of our narrative. the history is the first thing people see, then that's why we do it rather than what we think. Because there are a million different visitors and we don't know what any of them are going to think necessarily. So the first thing is histories, then what's the next thing you want to move me on to?
That would be, there's a level of, I'll put them here for now without a number, but there's the whole area that is dedicated to skills. I'll put it down as we put it there, but it's more than just skills. It's not going to be a physical thing, but it's going to be formed by the intersection of these two. Because as we know, as we sort of talked about, the influences and the history will going to spill over into the personal experiences and skills of the participants with the images and what they're inspired from.
So I'm sorry, I think I misread that because we talked about histories, but actually when I've looked again, it's influences. This I'm warming to as a starting point because it's almost as if, and there's a risk of it not containing much actual historic material. This is like I say to someone, so what started you off doing drag? And this is the answer.
Thinking from a physical side of things, how people are going to engage with these stories, we need to provide different routes in. Because we do have to be mindful of the audiences, hence this is why we are doing this exhibition, is to engage with the audience. And so ensuring that we're providing different layers, different routes in, I think is really important rather than having... So the space could be linear, but the story doesn't have to just be 1, 2, 3, 4.
If you're saying the space is linear, then there has to be a really clear linear narrative, otherwise your narrative isn't working with your spatial arrangement.
I think there is though with the back of house, this is the journey you're going to get ready, and then this is the front of house.
I'm not so convinced about, once we start doing this, I almost feel like, is this, the performance bit, is that actually part of one of these rather than being this separate space? I'm not sure. I think the fallacy here is just too unstable because we're not building a theatre and you're not in a theatre, and we want to depict back of house and we want to depict front of house, but I don't think literally building them as if it's a theatre works. What I'm trying to do at the moment, this feels like your narrative runs all the way around the edge and this isn't part of it. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to incorporate this spatially into this. So it doesn't feel, at the moment, this feels like it's a satellite just kind of floating around in the space. But actually it's a really important part of telling the story, isn't it?
That's exactly what we were thinking with the tables and the opportunity to physically sit at something that is directed towards a stage. So that was the idea. Even when you're not engaging with a performance, you're engaging with the things that are on the stage. But this part of the plinth or conversation here is more about how it's engaging with these, I suppose, conversations around here. But this element was exactly for what these are doing, which is whether there's someone there or not, you instantly know what kind of story you're part of.
So that I think is more likely to do it. This isn't doing it at the moment. It's completely isolated and it's floating around on its own.
Yeah, this was here just because the starting idea was the thing in the middle.
And that's why I'm saying I'm not sure the literal back of house, front of house is... I'm not sure you need it, and I'm not sure it works. So I've got a stage here, and I've got a slash curtain there, and I've got a makeup station there with 3 mirrors on it, 3 stools. I'm really keen to stop sticking stuff around the edge, and we could maybe have 2 freestanding things here that your visitor can come in and go round, and they can go there, and then they go round into there. The more visual styles you bring into something, the more complex it becomes. What we want, we want this. We want everything we bring in as set to be meaningful and to be part of the experience. The more singular elements you have, the more you're setting up a kind of visual noise which is confusing for visitors. But if you set up a device and you repeat that device, visitors will understand it visually, spatially, and as a device as well.